Hello, and welcome back to Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. It's the same time for me, just after I played last. Diablo's hunt went terribly, finally cleared it. Today I can start G-Rank quests, and hopefully I will enjoy them. Now, on that note, since I have decided to give up on doing every single quest, because otherwise I will give up, I just need to follow a key quest list. Which means I will have to start with the Yan Kutku for pecking order. This one. Pecking order, lost but not... Oh, Gypsaros already. But I think the Yan Kutku will be good because I think Yan Kutku provides attack up as a part of its armor set, or at least its low rank armor set, not even its high rank, so I don't actually know. I'm just going off of very distant memory. Not in the past year memory, but more like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago memory. Because my first time playing this game, I made the armor for some reason, and I would assume it would have been because it gave attack up. Because I'm going to need to replace my armor quickly. Because this isn't even very good armor for high rank. Okay. But today, I'm going to try to not focus on the game too much. I'm going to try and enjoy myself by yammering on about just about anything else. Which, I mean, just about anything else basically means, like, thinking about tabletop role-playing games, or at least the rule systems and the characters and stuff for tabletop role-playing games, because I've kind of been on a bit of a rules reading kick. It's more about the, you know, building a character and the interesting options than just boring rules, sort of. Like, that hits pretty hard. That's way faster than it should be. Like, I spent a bit of time in the past few days reading the rules to a role-playing game called Lancer. It's like a mech combat game. It has the base rules that are available for free. They have a lot of cool, like, designs for, you know, large mech combatants, with things that fit very well into different categories. Like, oh, these ones are weird, which is I would say pretty obvious which, I can say, manufacturer is the weird manufacturer, with names like Goblin and Medusa, Pegasus, stuff like that. Pretty fun names. I wish these cats were less stupid. I wish these cats were more intelligent and they didn't do this. But I need to ignore the game so that I feel better while playing the game and less frustrated with the game. Yes, it's... Oh, okay. Wrong turn. it's interesting how flexible a rule set for giant mech battle. They're not really giant mechs. They're only in the tens of feet, tens of meters scale, not like hundreds of meters or anything crazy. They're still big. They're not Pacific Rim giant robots. Or Ultraman, Power Ranger. Power Rangers, I think, gets really big robots. Some versions of Power Rangers, at least. It's not that type of giant robot, it's just large robots. I kind of hate how dark this place is. It makes it feel like my screen's brightness has died. I'm gonna get hit. Yep. That Conchu was very close. But it's like, it has entire, you know, archetypes that are very mix and match, as well as being, you know, fitting into an archetype. Like, every mech has its own... It doesn't technically have its own weapons. It's just you unlock a mech and its weapons that are kind of associated with it, I guess. And they all sort of fit well together. There's lots of funky applications, like a gun that randomizes, or you can randomize frequently to give it different ranges and damages, and it has no defined... Oh, it threw a contra at me, that's cool. It has no defined shape or form or whatever. It's really cool. I'm looking for a whetstone. What am I doing? I can't cancel because this is a different game. That didn't clear my burn, did it? Yep, despite being mid-roll that would have cleared my burn, it didn't clear it because I rolled into magic transition zone. Please heal me enough? Yeah, sure, that's enough. Oh, lovely heal as always. But yeah, there's like mechs with drone-based builds, mechs with burn themselves to deal more damage and potentially explode very easily based builds. There's a mech who has an entire gimmick around the moment they lose all of their health, they instantly react or explode, doing a ton of damage in a big AoE, killing the pilot as well. Where it's like, oh, you have to roleplay it. You would want to try to roleplay it as, oh yeah, if the pilots of other mechs are, you know, human and have self-preservation instincts, they don't want to be near this when it dies. So they don't want to kill it if you're too close. And it's kind of... There's a lot of interesting facets to this sort of system. There's one in a different book that has like phylactery, like time rewind powers called Lich, hence phylactery. I don't know anything beyond that, but that's kind of fun. Like, it's just a lot of very interesting things in these sorts of systems that are very appealing to see how mechs are put together. Now obviously I've only read it once, so I don't really know enough to like reference stuff off the top of my head beyond like specific standout names and stuff. There's a goblin that whose primary gimmick is called Goblins, the mech. I think its primary gimmick, I think. Oops, wrong button. I'm trying to morph. How do I morph? I press right trigger at the right time? How do I right trigger and this? How do I morph? I don't remember how, it's after certain combos? But it's awkward to morph on this weapon? In this style? Aerial style? I'll have to relearn that. Instead of always sheathing and drawing into my sword directly. But there's the goblin, who's half-sized, but it's effectively the same as one size. So it's basically just indicating that it is small for a mech. And it can link up with another mech, share various statistics, in a way that leaves it, seems like it leaves it pretty exposed. Maybe it doesn't leave it as exposed as I would have thought, having never played it, just read it. But it's a, you know, a system that's somewhat parasitic, symbiotic, those types of concepts being applied to mechs used in a practical role-playing game. And I think it's all about using a specific category of attacks that are all like system hacking and all that. I'm in a much better mood fighting a Yankutku talking about something else than when I'm focusing on hunting a Diablos. So I'm gonna continue. I've been reading through, there's actually a few, you know, legitimate, freely available rules for various role-playing games that are fun to read. There's also, there's a couple that I wanted to read, but I haven't read yet, that are like seem like they're very weird in their mechanical functions. There's like Mage the Awakening and Mage the Ascension originally from like the 90s that have had revisions over the past 3 decades that have changed who knows what. I've never read it, I've never played it. That I believe have like a relatively flexible system for, oh wait, no, it's always just Rider because that's easy to pick. Yeah, so stick with that. It's just easy. I'm taking the attack defense to get more defense. Oh wait, first. I don't know where the forge is here. Is it down here? But it's like something very flexible about the magic in those systems that, depending on, you know, oh yeah, I don't interact with that mechanic even though I probably should. Limit break. I want to check if I can make like good gear. I can't. Unless that's the limit break stuff they were talking about. That's Kutku Plus, which is high rank actually, isn't it? Oh wait, I fairly consistently wound up not being able to craft the helmet and only being able to craft these components. Yep, attack up large. That's my attack active skills, not what's applied it. Yes, attack 4, fire attack defense -3. Attack 4 versus my existing... I don't actually know what tier my armor is. I don't think it's this low. There's no way it's that low. I mean, that might have been high rank instead of master rank. I don't trust this game. Because it's just weird. So the Kutku X should be master rank, right? It gives 102 defense by default. Yeah, that has to be what I need, right? Oh yeah. Rarity 8. Yeah, that's what I need. I'm not gonna farm that right away. Yeah. Volstrax male as a baseline, 70. This is 102. 32 more defense. But I'll deal with that when I need to. I'm gonna push as far as I get before I start getting frustrated, which will be fairly quick. I will have a fairly low margin for being frustrated. But I'll do at least another hunt today. Maybe 2, depending on how quickly they go. Yeah, I was thinking about those. I need the burger. I was thinking about those, you know, role-playing game systems because there's a simplicity to established rules and reading about them. Those two are appealing because it's like, at least in the initial... Also, I'm skipping the next quest on the list if I can. I'm looking for survival of the biggest. That's several later, but it'll be easier and less annoying than either a Cephadrome and Daimyo Hermitor or a Gypsaros. I don't want to fight a Gypsaros right now. Cold. I don't have enough max potions. I do like the music. It's kind of nice. This is something they've improved upon greatly over the series. Crafting stuff without it doing that. But yeah, that's an interesting one that I want to try. Was it 2 separate systems? I think one... They're both made by the same company, I think. But Mage the Awakening is a little more... It's a different theme to it. Like, Mage the Ascension has some sort of like every mage does magic by like exerting their belief of reality onto the world or something like that. But none of them are wrong. Like it's all, everything they do is true because the world is just flexible. That is a huge bull drum. I don't remember them being this big. I do remember them being very squishy though. And then Mage the Awakening is like this one true truth and a bunch of stuff about how the current world of the system had some people became super powerful and they rewrote history, literally, like via time magic or something. And there's only one true truth to magic, but some differences within the... I don't know how that works. I haven't read it. I've just read basic summaries of them. Like 2 different approaches to a similar base idea, I would say. That tracking is garbage. It literally, the moment before charging, it spun 90 degrees, which is unreasonable. Oh, and not having monsters fight each other is going to be something I'm going to miss playing this game a lot. I'm going to miss it so much compared to when I'm playing Wilds. because it's so fun to see them fight each other. Okay, perfect. Run. Okay, well I got iced. It's fine. Recovered! Why'd they, like, they got back to full stamina and they still stay there staggered despite being at full stamina already. That's weird to me. Well, it is what it is. It should die very quickly because it's the bull drum. Yep, it's dead very quickly. These are things that I intend to read because, I don't know, systems of implementing more flexible, like, rules and stuff are, like, flexible but still codified are always interesting. I hate that they can freeze me. Because it's fairly easy to just say, oh, just do whatever. But having a structure, it takes more effort to design. Oh, I could barely tell that that was the actual guy I was here to hunt. Because it was barely any bigger. Oops. Oops. That was lucky. Oops. Bad. Oops. That was not my bad. That was just it jumping. That was greed. Anyway, I need to not focus on the game, otherwise I will get frustrated at it constantly jumping and making me chase it. So, the other thing that another role-playing game that I read, well actually I read two more recently, one of which I've barely started reading, one of which I read enough of to get to the, like, player-focused side of it, and not the game master, enemies, NPCs side of it. But I'm reading something that's like Stars Without Numbers? I don't know why it's without numbers, I don't know what that really means. But there's several games in that group, and it missed. And all the games are like without numbers, but there are numbers. It's an old school revival, whatever, that I think is basically just trying to replicate the systems used in older role-playing games that were a little less flexible, kind of, like, where it's also not a new game in question, but where a lot of role-playing games seem to be moving towards every group of people, everything can be whatever they want to be, and like, oh, you pick exactly what stats your characters have and stuff, and which is fine. I'm not against picking stats within, you know, appropriate reasons, like how the systems work in games. It's not just pick your stats, it's pick your array, basically. Okay, I don't remember how to morph. So I have to sheath my weapon if I want to attack. But this is like, it has stuff for not rolling stats, but like it still has rules for rolling stats instead of not including it at all. It has a bunch of, you know, randomized elements that you can do for character generation that you don't have to do randomized if you don't want to, stuff like that. That's more old school style. Which, I don't know, it appeals to me more than you can play a Pathfinder 2 Goblin with max strength to start. Like, I kind of think the physical structure of a creature influencing its general efficacy makes the choices more important mechanically. Because then you work with those choices. And that's more appealing to me than, oh, pick whichever one you want to be, but the only difference is some minor, you know, aesthetic difference. It's just not as interesting. I really wish this was a slightly slower monster, because this is just obnoxious. Because it's just constantly jumping. And that doesn't make it lethal, it just makes it annoying. Part of the issue is that it's constantly attacking my palicos, and then me, and then my palicos, and then me, so it's going back and forth, constantly running around like this. If it had jumped there instead of spat its ice attack, it would have jumped and proven my point. Instead I got lucky and it only did a ranged attack instead of jumping. But I don't really know what is up with the Stars Without Numbers, World Without Numbers, there's other ones. There's a Kickstarter that exists for Ashes Without Numbers, which is a post-apocalyptic role-playing game? Like, maybe not game. Game versus system. I don't know what the distinction is in this context, really. I got pushed sideways by its head as I was jumping, but I didn't get to jump off of the head. But the... Oop, close. It seems to be a fun... Well, having not read much of the character creation or the world or any of that, just reading part of the... There's a psychic... they don't call it classes, I think. Like the, you know, what would be the class is a psychic. There don't seem to be a lot of options in terms of classes, as they were. But maybe there's something more to it that I'm missing that will show up later reading more. But it's interesting interpretations of, like, different types of, you know, psychics. Telepaths, so telepathy, telekinesis, there's one about teleportation, there's one that's all about controlling the psychic power itself, which is kind of interesting, despite it sounding kind of boring. Like, it's interesting because it's sort of a... It seems built around interacting with other psychics, so sort of maybe like an anti-wizard sort of class. Like, it's a niche specific target, though it benefits itself as well. And it has interesting implications around the world that it is set in, with the meta-psychics, is I think what they're called. Yeah, meta-psionics. It's psionics, not psychic. Like, meta-psionics... being a psychic is dangerous. It's a threat to the mind of the person that is a psychic. So meta-psionics are required to not have the people burn themselves out. And, like, that sort of thing is reflected within the gameplay system in a manner which wouldn't exist in a lot of, like, more modern targeted designs, because permanent, I think, negative attributes, like, you lose... A psychic can torch to exert effort being their currency to cast spells, basically. They can torch, and it on like a 1 or 2 1d6. They have different rolls, whatever. If they're lucky, nothing happens. If they're not, then they lose wisdom or something, and it's just a permanent drop to their score, which is much less friendly. It's not something that I would choose to do in this sort of game, because it is what it is. But it's also like, if you're desperate and you're playing a game that, you know, desperation, death in the game is common, that sort of thing, you would do it. You would take the risk, because otherwise your character just dies. And it's interesting. It's not necessarily a fun element, that's for sure, but I find it interesting. Okay, it doesn't look like there's too many G1 key quests. I'm just looking ahead briefly. I'm gonna stop for today. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, if I just focus purely on clearing the rest of the game, there's not that many key quests in G rank. Which I would say increases the chance that I play more of the non-key quest stuff when I get to the later points. Because it's so short, I'm more likely to hunt stuff just to hunt stuff, trying all the interesting monsters. But I'm not doing that yet. Like, I don't think I want to do any of these with a high rank weapon. I don't think soloing any of these high rank monsters with high rank weapons will be fun. Even if I didn't die constantly, it would still take 40 or 50 minutes, I imagine, for plenty of these. And that's just not fun for me. Why is that special? Like, it's not a hunt. Is it a repel? These are all special, but not hunts or... I guess it's like Nakarkos. That makes sense. And with these, like, I do want to do these eventually, like Elatrion, Amatsu, Ukamo, Sakantor. Rajang I don't really care that much about. I've fought him. Not necessarily this version of Rajang, because that looks like Furious Rajang. But actually, Rajang in this game is awful. I hate it so much, if I remember correctly, because it will shoot lasers constantly. It's really annoying. And maybe someday I go back to the village low rank quests for the advanced garbage that's really poorly positioned in the game. Either way, that will be it for today. I myself am going to take a bit of a break and not play more today. So I will be a different person in the next episode. Hopefully less annoyed at the game. Not that I'm that annoyed. I actually enjoyed this. It was relaxing. I enjoyed talking to myself about role-playing games. Always fun to me. And if anyone else enjoys talking about role-playing games, let me know, because they're interesting. So, have a nice day. Bye-bye.